What happens when a group of paranormal investigators start a conversation? You get Ghost of the Coast Paranormal, the podcast. Tales of the dead, the bizarre, and all things supernatural. Join us now as we discuss The Conjuring. Hi, and welcome back to Ghost of the Coast Paranormal, the podcast. I'm Erin.
I'm Linnea.
I'm Deborah.
And tonight we're discussing all things Conjuring. We're talking about the movies, we're talking about the real life story, all things. Possibly some other of the franchise. We haven't really decided yet. So yeah, how's everybody doing today?
Hanging in there. How about you?
Doing good. Doing good.
Deborah, how was your day?
Rainy Monday.
Oh my god, so rainy.
Yeah, I know. It's supposed to get real windy tonight.
I think
Yeah, we've got wind
Mhm.
advisories
I
here
didn't
tomorrow.
realize like this was a storm.
I didn't either.
Yeah,
Is
I
it?
didn't realize it was a storm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely not as bad as the one we had several weeks ago.
Thank you.
Bless
Were
you.
you
I
blowing
wanted
off?
to mute that for you.
I was gonna say, did you blow off your keyboard again?
That's terrible.
but but yeah, it's. I didn't realize it was a storm until I saw Eddie P's post on Facebook about a wind advisory. I was like, well, damn, okay.
Yeah, I think it's
So
supposed to go into tomorrow afternoon with the winds.
yeah, yep. But yeah, so we're talking about The Conjuring today, and I'm sure we will squirrel again like all of our other episodes, especially after
Of
last
course. Of course.
especially especially after last week's Food Network show. By the way, editing that was hilarious.
Did
I
you get
got
hungry?
hungry, but also like it was so funny because we were on topic the entire time, and then we just took an entire like 90-degree turn. Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
straight
that's
off the
what
road,
happens.
straight off the road. So editing that was a lot of fun. Um,
People would was wrong with us if we
like, they
didn't.
feeling okay. They didn't veer off today. Um, but yeah, our I will say our Spotify numbers are going up, which is
Woo-hoo.
cool.
That's
We
awesome.
do have 78 followers on Spotify, and
Share, people.
yep, share if you care. And in the last 30 days, we've had 704 impressions on Spotify, which means
Oh.
which means we have either shown up on the Spotify homepage, um, shown up via Spotify search, or shown up in somebody's Spotify library.
Nice.
So that is pretty cool. So thank you guys for listening, and and until next time. But yeah, so real quick on a quick side note, I fell down a little rabbit hole earlier in the weekend or week or whatever it is that you're listening to. At some point between last week and this week, I have fallen down a rabbit hole. Did you guys know that there used to be 13 months?
Mm, I don't think I recall that.
Yeah, there used to be 13 months. Uh,
There was equal number
Equal
of days
number
in each
of
month.
days in each
What
month.
was it called?
Sol, SOL.
Hmm.
Yeah, SOL. And it took place between June and July. But also, the first of the year was not January 1st, it was April 1st. And every month had,
April 1st? April
April,
Fool's Day?
yeah, and every month had 28 days. Every month started on a Monday and ended on a Sunday.
And why'd they change it?
They went to. I think they said they went to the universal way. So like, they changed it in like 1937,
Really,
and
that late?
yeah,
Huh.
and sorry, Blanche is making biscuits in the bed. They. I'm in my bed tonight, so it's kind of weird being in this setup.
Well, what the heck? I gotta start getting in my bed.
We could call it the podcast after dark
Bedtime stories with Ghosts of the
bedtime.
Coast Paranormal.
Yeah,
Got some
bedtime
hot
stories.
cocoa in our PJs.
Oh my gosh! Wait, what if we did what if we did another podcast where each week we literally told a different scary story from our beds in our PJs?
That we'd have to write a scary story?
No,
Oh.
you just pick some lores and legends.
We could do a
Ooh,
season of that, see how it goes. Let's
yeah,
see.
from our beds.
I like my bed. I'm down.
I mean, I'm already in my PJs, so
I'm
uh,
not even in my PJs yet. I'm still dressed from work.
what in the world?
I got
Yeah,
classes to get done.
yeah, I'm in my PJs. I'm chilling. I'm ready to go. Oh,
Y'all see what I keep on my
I'm
Back
kind.
nightstand?
scratcher?
I was gonna say I'm kind of scared to see what you keep on your nightstand.
Me and
Yeah,
Shine like
Blanche
this
does
thing.
not like the back scratcher. Blanche,
Shine does as long as I don't get
no,
too heavy
Blanche
with
doesn't
it.
like it. She thinks it's like I don't even know what she thinks, but like she usually loves
What's
her.
that? What's that?
Yeah, she usually loves her butt scratch, but when you go at it with the scratcher, she's like, what the hell is that, Mom? That's no good. She's very particular. But yeah, 13 months, and that is why there are 13 zodiac signs and 13 Chinese New Year symbols. So that's a little tidbit for the day.
Interesting. Interesting.
Very, very much so. And then I saw
I
other
can't
stuff.
promise that we're not going to come back to a round of food today since it was Super Bowl yesterday, though.
Oh yeah, did you guys? Well, let's go ahead and get it out of the way because now that you mentioned it, did you guys watch the game?
I watched
Nope.
until a little bit after halftime, and then I went to bed. I was bored with the
Yeah,
whole matter. Gianna
I
and I were playing commercial bingo.
yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good game. I don't watch pro football except for the Super Bowl, so it was a good game. Um, the halftime show, it did take me back to my college days, but
I
then
thought it
I
was
was
boring.
like the songs I liked. I could have done without all. I could have done without all the gyrating and hip thrusting though. But but I did enjoy the songs and stuff because, I mean, I did have the Usher the Confession CD.
Usher was
Uh,
never my thing.
yeah, I mean I did in high school and college. I did. Um,
I didn't like the show until the turn down for what, and then from there on it was okay. But the whole beginning of it was just boring to me.
yeah, that was my drinking song in college.
Turn down for what?
Yeah,
Oh, girl, you're so young. I used to sing
I
that with my kids.
I caught like 10 minutes of it while I was transferring
yeah.
clothes from washer to dryer,
I
and then I got the beginning of
yeah,
Alicia Keys.
It's nice to
yeah,
see Alicia Keys out there.
But I always Google the next day
yeah,
Super Bowl commercials. I'm so glad they brought the
I
yeah.
Clydesdale
didn't
That
see
was
horses
that
cute.
because
back
I went
this
to bed
year.
before that. I heard that was late in the fourth quarter. The
Yeah,
Dunkin' Donuts commercial was hysterical, and the Doritos one was good. Those were the only two I cared for.
yeah. I mean, I feel
The
What was
Dunkin'
the
Donuts
first one you
one was
said?
funny with J
Oh,
Lo
okay,
and
I
Ben
hadn't seen
Affleck,
that one.
yeah.
Tom Brady.
I'll be honest.
I saw the one with the commercial with
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah,
Jennifer
good.
Aniston
mm.
and David
Yeah.
Schwimmer.
Um
Wasn't that
yeah,
good though? Because I can't remember what company it was for.
Yeah, they're like clear a
We,
spot in
I
your
have
head,
no
and then
idea.
you'll
Mm-hmm.
remember it later. Um, yeah, I think it was like an Uber Eats commercial or a DoorDash commercial or something. But it's just my opinion, but I think that the commercials aren't as good as they normally are. I mean, past few
Oh,
years,
know who it? So let's talk about who spent the most money for commercials. The
Homes.com,
Timu commercials played like, and I know now. I've always said Timu, but now I learned because they played the commercial like 50 times last night. It's
Temu.
not. It's like Temu or something.
Oh,
But they played it like a lot. Like they must have spent a lot for as cheap as their
Mm-hmm.
crap is. They spent millions and millions of dollars last night.
I think I only saw like maybe one or two of those
Girl,
commercials.
I saw it like at least 4 times.
But I mean, we were also streaming it. Were you streaming it?
Paramount Plus.
Okay. See, I guess I wasn't paying
But I was
attention
paying
to.
attention to the commercials because we were specifically playing commercial bingo.
Gotcha. So yeah, I don't think I was paying attention to the
We play
The
commercial bingo every year
Tamu
since the kids were
commercials.
small.
What is commercial
You print
bingo?
out a bingo board for that year, and it tells you like what they like. It was like if a DoorDash commercial comes on, check your box. If Uber Eats comes on, Bud Light comes on, Dunkin' Donuts.
I did like the Bud Light Genie. That was pretty funny.
I think I got up for food during that one. Once I saw what the brand was and I could mark it off, I was on my way sometimes.
Yeah.
So we had some buffalo chicken dip, and we had some nachos, and we had potato skins, and a little earlier we had some mozzarella sticks and some fried pickles.
Nice, nice.
What you
I
guys have?
had I had some I made steaks and mac and cheese
Nice.
and corn, and then we had French onion dip and
Fresh corn?
no, it's canned corn today. I mean yesterday.
Yeah, you just reminded me I took steaks out to make today and I forgot to make them.
Yeah. And then I had French onion dip and some chips and
Mm.
some ice cream.
What were you eating yesterday, Deborah?
I
Ooh,
blanched collards, so I had a bowl of collards and
Well,
rice for
that's a lot
supper last
healthier
night.
than what we were eating. It's definitely a lot healthier than what I was eating.
right.
Jeff made Jeff made some hamburger steaks
Oh,
with grilled
nice.
onions, so he had that with his collards and rice, and I just had the
Nice.
Nice.
collards and rice.
Very nice.
And it was so good. My house was smelling so good yesterday with them collards blanching, and Jeff comes out there and he's like, "We're gonna have collards for lunch." I was like, "Nope, I'm blanching these, but we'll have some for supper." You mean I'm having to smell this and can't even eat them?
Oh, yeah. I went to my mom's yesterday.
So we got
I
collards for the
went to my
freezer now.
mom's yesterday, and
Oh, you did the
we
escape room, right?
yeah we played an escape room, and it was a lot of fun. And they come in like they're like $15 on Amazon, so I think I'm gonna get one for us for a game night for one night.
I think I have one. My father-in-law bought. Let me look at it and see what it is. He bought it and he opened it and he decided it was too much work and he was like, "Take it home." I don't even
Yeah.
bother with it.
Well, these are like one use escape rooms, so it's like 14 or $15, and because you have to like cut stuff up and write stuff
That
down.
might be what this is. That's what I'm saying. He was like, he opened it and looked at it and was like, "This is too much work."
Yeah, I mean it was a lot of fun. So I definitely think I'm gonna get one for our game night.
Well, we can use this one if I can. If that's what it is. Let me
Yeah,
look for it later.
cool. Um, all right. So let's get into the Conjuring. Are you guys ready?
Yeah,
How
you know I
many
like
of
my
the
movies.
Yeah, they are. I was gonna watch this one. The first Conjuring. I was gonna watch it. I just didn't have time to. Um, but I have seen all of the Conjuring movies, like The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, all of those.
Hmm.
Um, I have not seen any of the other like spin-offs. Like I've seen the Annabelle, but it's been a while since I've seen Annabelle. But the Nun and all that I haven't seen, but they don't really impress me.
Yeah, I don't love those ones.
Yeah. So, what is your yeah?
They're creepy.
What is your favorite of the Conjuring universe?
I think for me, it's a toss up between The Devil Made Me Do It and Annabelle Comes Home.
Yeah, Deborah.
I don't know. I don't know. That's hard. I thought I liked all of them except for the
Mhm.
La Llorona, which Lenia said is not part of the
Right.
Conjuring universe.
Wikipedia just has
But
it listed as related films.
I I watched them in release order, but I want to go back and watch them in chronological order. I think a lot of things will make more sense.
Yeah. I I do like The Devil Made Me Do It. That one was a good one. We watched that one when it first came out, and that one was a good one. But all right, so this is kind of going to be like a little bit of a movie review and then some of the history on The Conjuring. So first off, would you guys want to go to the Conjuring house and do an overnight?
Yes.
Why?
Only because I don't know. As we kind of got into all the paranormal stuff, it like you change your views so much. Like when I first saw that stuff, I wasn't really investigating or all that, so it was kind of like not take it with a grain of salt. Like to me, it was like these are based on true story. This is awesome.
Yeah.
But then as I started learning more, and you kind of learn about Ed and Lorraine and kind of what people's opinions are and how stories are exaggerated, I don't know how much I believe is real. Like the same thing with the Amityville Horror House.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know if
Now I
I
would want to stay for curiosity just to see.
yeah. I I watched the most recent Project Fear episode, and that's where they're at the past 2 weeks.
Okay, I'll have to watch that tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, but from what I gathered is not much. Sorry, I was not trying to show you my fat. I was trying to show you Blanche and her
It just looked like a little
pitifulness.
bit of a striptease show. Yours is going down.
Hey.
Oh, you just in.
I mean, I don't work for free now. um, but I mean, from what it sounded like or what it looked like, the evil entities were mainly in the woods, not necessarily the house. So, um, so a little bit on the house itself. And this comes from the conjuringhouse.com. So the house was built in 1736. So the original house, the real life house, not the movie house, the real life house was built in 1736. Um, and obviously is responsible for um, the Conjuring movies. Um, it was owned by the Arnold family. It's called the Old Arnold Estate. Um, and of course, where'd you go? Of course, I just lost everything um, that I had pulled up. Um, the original owners of the house.
Well,
Yeah.
I can hear the rain outside. It's so loud.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. I have a tin roof, so you can imagine what it sounds like in my house.
all right. So a lot of the history is based around the family that was involved in in the Conjuring movie,
Mm-hmm.
the Perrin family. But because the house was originally built in 17, what did I say,
1736, I think.
36, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, It's it was owned by Richardson Arnold. So I mean that tells you right there. There's a lot of history on the land itself.
Sure, 1736.
Yeah, and
Oh, you can stay. You can stay
yeah,
there overnight.
um,
Mm-hmm.
so the original estate was deeded to the Richardsons, um, which was more than 1,000 acres. And again, this comes from the conjuringhouse.com. Um, it was sold off in parcels to families in the area. Some families who still live there hundreds of years later. So now, um, so um, so obviously women back then didn't have any rights to property, so it automatically was transferred. Um, Through marriage from the first colonies, the Richardson family to the Arnold family. From the Arnold family, which is named after the house is named after the Arnold family. Um, it was transferred to the Butterworths and then the Kenyons before being purchased by the Perrins in 1970. So the Perrins are our main focal point for the Conjuring series. The Perrins consisted of um, they purchased the house in 1971, um, and it was husband and wife and five daughters. Um, so the husband's name is Roger, wife's name is Carolyn. Uh, their daughters are Andrea, Nancy, Cindy, Christine, and April. In the movies, they did use the original names of the family. Um, so once they moved into the home, oh, they also had a dog too. So once they move into the home, um, things kind of start happening. So in the movie itself, we know it kind of starts out with the main focal point of the movie is Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Of course it is.
So you guys know who they are. Those of you who don't know who they are renowned demonologists, husband and wife duo that goes around and clears negativity from properties and researches the darkness and all of that stuff. Um, so I think he was the demonologist, and then she was clairvoyant.
Medium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the movie starts with them, with the Annabelle case, and then so they move it to the. God, I am all over the place. I'm sorry. Uh, so the family moves it. The parents move into the house. 1971. Things start happening. Um, so some of the things that started happening was they discovered the thing that opened it was they discovered a um, an entrance in the cellar, and once they discovered this and then things started happening. Um, and again, this particular is in the movie. Uh, I will try, and I'm sure there's creative liberties and all of that, and um, because it's Hollywood. So, according to the conjuringhouse.com, one of the spirits' name is Abigail Arnold. So, one of the original inhabitants of the home. This is, quote, Abigail was the daughter of Martha Hopkins and Sylvanus Cook. She married John Arnold in 1795 when she was 19 years old, and they lived on the estate where John Arnold was a farmer. They had 14 children in 20.
Oh God,
Does your uterus hurt, Deborah?
bad. I think the cyst on my ovary just ruptured.
They had 14 children in 22 years. Abigail loved to cook
Imagine the
and
bladder on that woman.
uh,
What
it's
bladder?
just a little, just a little like deflated balloon at that
She
point.
says hi and pees her pants.
Yeah. So she loved to cook and preserve fruits in the cellar. She died of an illness at 93 and was buried in Burrillville. She remains a resident of the house and will often warn guests to get out of the basement if there is a malevolent spirit around. She asks all guests to visit with respect. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah.
As they should.
Um so another spirit that is encountered at the house. Y'all, I've just realized that I've gone from talking about the movie briefly to talking about the spirits briefly. Now we're going back to the movies. Let me keep it on track. Help me keep it on track. This is what happens when we have to switch it up real quick. All right. So let's jump back over to the movie. So they discover this boarded up entrance in the cellar. Um, and then things start happening very quickly after that. In the movie, all the clocks stop at the
307.
3:07. My dyslexia can't handle it. Uh, and then Carolyn wakes up with large bruises each morning.
Bruges?
Bruises. She got the bruises. Um, and then what really kicks the movie off is their dog was found in the yard dead.
Now that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it? Isn't it
That hurt
sad?
my heart.
I was
That
reading a
hurt my
book the
heart.
other day. Well, part of that series that I'm listening to, and one of the things was the very last chapter of the book, the first book. The dog gets shot,
Oh.
and but when the book ends, he's still alive. The dog's still good, but the bullet just grazes the top of his head, and he gets beat up. And
Hmm.
and the whole time I'm listening to that, and they're talking about the dog, and I'm like, oh my God, don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die, don't die. And then she's like, but he took a breath and he was fine. I was like, thank God.
Yeah, I can't watch stuff like Marley and Me. Can't do it.
No, like we watch movies and like we watched the movie Strays, right? With was it Kevin Hart and that dog movie where um the dogs have personalities. It's an adult movie, but about
Oh, that
dogs.
Strays one or whatever.
Yeah, and we were watching that, and there was one point where something happened, and one of the dogs was like getting hurt or something. And I looked at my husband and said, "I can't watch this. This is terrible." Um. So anyway, the the movie goes further that so things start happening and the wife, so Carolyn Perrin, contacts the Warrens. I wonder how long that went, like in real life, how long that went before like she contacted them, and if they were like, if she was like, oh, this is weird. All of our clocks are stopped at 3:07 in the morning. You know who I could call, or if it,
So on Reddit, one of the posters, Spidey fan 914 posts, and he actually says that The alleged haunting was ongoing for 3 years before the Warrens showed up.
Oh yeah, that's a lot to condense into 2 hours. So I guess it would be right away in the movie. Um. So right.
Ding
So
ding.
like, okay, how did they? I mean, at what point would you? I mean, if we were not paranormal investigators, right? Take that out of the equation. At what point, if you're having some things going on in the house, what point or what time frame would you say, you know what, I might need to reach out to somebody?
I think it
3 days.
depends on what's happening. I mean, if it's just paranormal normal activity, I might be good with it. If somebody's like scratching my kids or something, I'd be out in 24 hours.
Like,
I'd be knocking on the priest door.
like if your house was like the Conjuring house, or excuse me, the Conjuring house,
Alleged.
the movie.
Alleged.
We'll say if your house was like the Conjuring house movie, what would your timeline be?
I wouldn't be waiting 3 years.
3 days.
I don't even know you wait three. I mean, if something's bad enough, like the
Yeah,
first time something like scary happens,
yeah,
I'm probably getting help immediately,
yeah,
or at least looking into it.
yeah. I mean, I feel that. I
Probably depends on
Hmm.
what it is that's
yeah,
Right. If it's some
happening.
like
You know
cabinet
what I'm
doors
saying?
opening, I
First
probably think
time,
it was like dementia setting.
I'll chalk it up one time.
yeah,
Could be anything. Could be numerous things. Second time, I really
yeah,
want you to stop. Third time, I'm gonna be
yeah.
calling
I
somebody. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
I've
begging,
actually had cabinets opening
begging.
up at my old, like my parents' old house. That was
Hmm.
crazy. Um, but yeah, I think I would agree. I think it would be it depends on what it is, but I don't think I would call. I don't think the Warrens would be the first that I call.
Well, you got to remember too, like
No,
it's time period and what other stuff that they were involved in at that time. So they might have just seen them on the media
Mm,
for some of the other cases because it is around that time frame that they're really kind of doing the most, you know.
right? Yeah,
So they were probably like, this is it. There's like, who else is there to call?
yeah. That's true. That's true.
I'm gonna be calling somebody with a little more personal communication with
Well,
Jesus.
Ed Warren was very religious, so
Yeah,
But that don't mean you got a
well, I'm sure
personal
he was
relationship
selling
with
like
Jesus.
he was selling his part of his demonology thing, like the whole thing where they were trying to say like they were approved by the Vatican. Church says no, they weren't.
well, so the Warrens come up and agree to, you know, we're gonna investigate this for you. Um, and then Lorraine, this is back in the movie. Lorraine, who is a clairvoyant, sees dark forces have latched onto the Perrin family. Um, Uh, dark forces have latched onto the Perrin family. She explains that leaving the house will not free them. Um, so whatever it is attached to the family directly. Which is another thing too. Like if it's attached to the family, then obviously the house itself is not haunted. Um, and I'd be curious to see. I mean, I don't think it was ever stated that it was attached to the family or not, but I'd be curious to see though if there's anything that says they had stuff going on prior to them moving into this house. Tip tapping away, girl.
It's that keyboard warrior.
So the Warrens come out. She sees the dark figures. Um, so to gather the evidence, they place cameras. They do a typical investigation of the property, and they had an assistant there and a police officer there. So, and this was back in the 70s, so they were using the old camera and the, what is that camera called? Just a video camera, right? Uh, camcorder,
Camcorder.
and the big um, old tape recorder that they had the strap for with the little microphone. I think, by the
Mm-hmm.
way, I think that would be a cool piece of equipment to have and use because tape is much
Oh yeah.
more raw than digital voice.
Mm-hmm.
So, further research reveals that the house belonged to an accused witch, um, who is a relative of, well, anyway, uh,
Relative of who?
uh, Marytown Easty.
Is she related to the parents?
Hold on, let me look. No, she was a witch from the Salem witch trials.
So, how would a witch from the Salem witch trial be attached to that family?
It's a movie. I don't think that was actually the.
Written
Huh?
script. My father-in-law says it's a
Yeah,
poorly
it's a
written
movie,
script.
but I don't think that's the real case of the real Conjuring experience. Um, so the accused witch, Bathsheba Sherman, uh, who sacrificed her week-old baby to the devil and killed herself in 1863 at 3:07 in the morning, after proclaiming her love of the devil and cursing all who take her land. So there are reports of numerous murders and suicides through the years in the houses that were built on the property. Again, according to the film. Um, so one morning, she appears to the mother and fully possesses her. And that night, uh, the group hears one of the spirits uh, luring one of the daughters into the wardrobe, where she reveals a secret passage. Lorraine enters the passage and falls down into the cellar, where she uh, sees the spirit of a woman whom Bathsheba has possessed long ago and used to kill her child. So she attacks Nancy, which is another daughter, and the incident is caught on camera. The Warrens conclude that this is sufficient evidence to receive authorization from the Catholic Church to perform an exorcism. Um,
Um, Little side note, because it was just what we were talking about. It doesn't say anything about experiences before or after that I'm finding yet, but it said somebody's asking a question in an interview, and it says apparently you even had a family pet named Bathsheba. Is that true? She says yes. This is the daughter, one of the daughters. Yes, that was before we moved to the farm, and the name just kind of fell out of the sky. My mother named our little dog Bathsheba. We didn't know the biblical reference. We were just little kids, so we abbreviated it to Sheba. But her given name was Bathsheba as a little puppy. And you know where did that come from? And then it just says question mark, and it goes on to a different.
so, what is the biblical reference
Hmm.
to that?
Let's see. FYI, I also had a puppy named Sheba when I was little.
I knew somebody who had a.
I think everybody's had
I
one
did
named Sheba.
not, but I know. I did not.
I didn't, but I know
I
of a
know of
lot
a
of people that
cat.
did.
Somebody had a cat named Sheba.
Bathsheba in the Hebrew Bible, 2 Samuel 11:12, 1 Kings 1 2, wife of Uriah the Hittite. I don't know. She later became one of the wives of King David and the mother of King Solomon.
So, um, so they had to get approval for the exorcism from the Vatican directly,
Which is
um,
not true.
because the Perrin family are not members of the Catholic Church.
It has
Um,
nothing to do with that anyway, and all the stuff we've learned about the Vatican. They wouldn't not do an exorcism because somebody wasn't a member of the Catholic Church. They kind of are the sole source of
right,
basically exorcisms.
right. Um, So the movie is ending with the daughter being attacked. The Warren's daughter being attacked at the Warren house by Bathsheba. The Perrin family takes refuge at the motel, but Carolyn takes Christine and April back to the house to kill them. So, two of the five daughters. Ed and Lorraine and Brad find Carolyn in the cellar trying to stab Christine. Lorraine warns that if they take Carolyn outside of the house, she will, um, Bathsheba will kill her. They tie Carolyn to the chair. Ed attempts to do the exorcism himself. Though Carolyn escapes and attempts to kill April, Lorraine is able to call her by reminding her of a special memory she shared with her family, allowing Ed to complete the exorcism. The This lifts the curse and condemns her back to hell. So it ends, the last scene in the movie, it ends with them returning to their home. Ed takes a haunted music box from the Perrin home, um, to store in their room of cursed artifacts, that they have collected from past cases. And then, so as he leaves, the music box starts playing on his own. So,
So, are you aware that in The Conjuring 1, the outside visuals of the home is actually a home in Curry, North
really?
Carolina?
Did not know that.
Yes. And a lot of The Conjuring was actually filmed in
Wilmywood.
Wilmington.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can see that. Let's see. So, the Conjuring movie by itself, the first Conjuring movie. What do you guys would you guys recommend that movie to people?
Mm, I don't hate that one or love that one. Like I said, the only two I'd probably recommend are The Devil Made Me Do It and Annabelle.
Yeah. Um yeah, I like the
I would say yes because, like I said a while ago, if you watch them in
yeah.
chronological order, I think everything, all the movies would fall together and make more sense.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. So according to their website, The Conjuring House, they only have the two spirits. So they have Abigail, which we spoke about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a spirit named Matthew. Um, but it turns out that um,
What was the wife? What was Mrs. Arnold's name?
Abigail,
That was Abigail.
yeah,
Because the daughter says when they first moved into the house, they met an old man in his 90s, and he labeled himself as the town historian. He just knew a lot about the original homesteaders in that area. He said that based on his own knowledge and research, he believed that Mrs. Arnold had hanged herself in the barn at the age of 93 in 1797. Those were the dates he gave us. We have yet to be able to verify that.
so and wait,
How's a 97-year-old or 93-year-old woman going to be able to hang herself?
but wait, in 17 what?
1797.
Well, she was only 19 when she married John Arnold in 1795.
I'm just reading what the daughter has.
Well, she needs to fact check herself.
It says those are the dates that he gave us, but we've not been able to verify that. But she was the only one who I think probably considered herself mistress of the house. She was threatened by my mother's presence there. She wanted mom out. She wanted dad and us to stay. So she, whoever it was, the female spirit with a broken neck that approached my mother twice, she just wanted my mom out of the house. I think she just wanted to live her life over again, vicariously with my father and us, the five children, that she seems to covet. She approached Christine, she approached Cindy. I saw her. I don't think Nancy ever saw her, and I don't think April ever saw her. We almost had different spirits that liked us best. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's bizarre. And yet last night during a spirit session that we were having at the farm, I was there last night at 2 in the morning. What came through was Abigail Arnold, who I believe died in 1865. She came through, identified herself, identified me as being present in the house, and then her direct message to me was, "We miss your family."
Huh.
This is the woman
The
that had all the
14
children,
children?
correct?
This is one of the daughters that lived in the
Yeah.
house.
One of the parent daughters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 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 no,
Oh,
no, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
Abigail.
I'm talking about
she
Abigail.
had 14 kids.
So I could see her wanting Mama gone
Yeah.
out of the
Well, it
picture.
sounds like she wanted to fill the slot of new mom. She wanted to take care of the kids and be with the
Right.
father.
Mommy dearest.
Ooh. Ooh.
Mm.
So there is another spirit that they have listed on the website. He's called Matthew K. This says, quote, we have much to learn about Matthew, but here's what we know so far. Matthew never lived in the house. Matthew, a guy named Jonathan, and a few others went towards the light they saw and ended up at the house. He liked it, so he visits often. He died in 1888 when he was 27 years old. He was married at the time of his death. He was very fun, caring, and he was very fun and caring to others, and has joked that it is weird that women wear pants, and that music is strange now. He very much enjoys the piano. When shown how smartphones work, he had called it witchcraft. He likes being at the house in part so he can interact with guests.
So we've talked about two spirits who found their way. Either they were at the house or they were drawn to the house, but nothing saying anything about the family.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is just directly from the website itself. Um, so,
So something from the house had to lure
right.
them.
Well, they have what, eight and a half acres or something, so there could be something on the property.
Yeah, I
Like
think,
you said a lot of stuff happens in the woods. So what if there's like a portal somewhere?
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I think based on the previous episodes of Project Fear, I mean, they talk about how the daughters would hear voices saying 7 dead soldiers buried in the wall just over and over again. And so what if, whether it's the Continental Army or whatever passed through that land and or had a skirmish on that land or near that land,
Right.
and that blood soaked the land. And I mean, you would think that that would that negativity, that impact of all that could stir up some negativity, and or create like a do the opposite, create a beacon of some sort. um I mean, I don't know. It's I
I mean, I
definitely,
believe a lot of these cases felt they had some reason to reach out for help.
yeah,
But then once they hook up with the Warrens, the stories just got blown up proportionally. And I'm
yeah,
sure the Warrens were saying, like, convincing people things were happening because, that's better for them.
yeah, oh yeah.
Hmm.
Makes them more money.
For $9.99 you can have your own exorcism. I mean, yeah, I don't know, and I feel like they're gonna have to be an episode all in their own.
Oh, for sure.
Um,
Oh yeah.
and I think that you know they still, even though they're both deceased, they still have a large following.
Well, because their son in law is still running everything and making more movies and
Yeah, Isn't his son-in-law? Isn't the son-in-law the guy from The Devil Made Me Do It?
Pharaoh. From what?
The Devil Made Me Do It.
What do you mean the guy from it?
I thought that was their daughter the whole time, like the daughter's boyfriend that killed the landlord.
That's
Well,
Arnie. That's a different case.
Oh,
That has nothing to do with their daughter.
see,
And that case is a whole nother interesting one because that's nothing. Like when they make it sound like he goes into that like trance in the room when he's here, he's like seeing her dancing with him and like just starts killing him.
yeah,
They were all at a bar drinking.
yeah,
Like what not what happened at all, not even remotely close. And they
right,
said he was drinking like a lot, a lot.
yeah. I enjoyed that, but I just now realized that I watched it through the wrong eyes. I thought it was a story about their daughter and the boyfriend killed their landlord. I
Mm-hmm.
It didn't click that it wasn't the daughter. I think I even asked my husband when we were watching. I was like, "That's their daughter, right?" And he's like, "Yeah."
No.
So,
No.
I mean, that one was a good one though.
No, they're doing an exorcism on the girl's little brother. And then the little brother the boyfriend throws himself and he instigates the spirit to come out of the little boy and into him.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
supposedly that's when he goes all crazy.
right.
yeah. That one was a good movie. But
Yeah,
I do remember some of the things that came out afterward where people were like, that's not even how it went. Like that wasn't even real life. Like that was literally just a movie.
right.
Well, and all these movies that are based on
Yeah.
true stories, 9 times out of 10, they use the root of what the story is
Yeah.
and make it
Make it
what they
what's going
want.
to sell.
Creative liberties. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
just
Right.
like, you know, look what they did with the Annabelle doll. I mean, for Pete's sake, she was a Raggedy Ann doll. Quite frankly, I'd be more afraid if it was a Raggedy Ann doll because she's sweet and unsuspecting.
yeah.
Never mind the creepy doll.
Hmm. That's
Huh?
the ones that get you. That's
Yeah,
the ones that
you know all
get you.
about Annabelle, right?
What?
I mean, there were some creepy dolls at that place we went to the other week. All over the place. Um, I wasn't messing with them.
Nope. See here, I've told y'all before. I'll be in Goodwill and somebody's grandma will die, and they'll bring all them porcelain dolls in there and stack them up on that shelf, and I'll do me a little Yui in the
I
middle of
used
the
to have a
aisle.
bunch. I had a collection of them when I was younger.
Nope.
Oh,
I
people
hate
used to buy them
dolls.
for
Nope.
me.
I hate dolls. I hate them.
But I also
Nope.
had a
Don't
lot
want
of
no part
Raggedy
of them.
Ann dolls when I was little.
Now you got a
I love
rag.
Raggedy Ann. I
Nope.
told you, Gianna was Raggedy Ann for years. I got Raggedy Ann and Andy Christmas ornaments.
I know
I've always had them.
you gave birth to your own Annabelle.
I gave birth to my own Annabelle. Yeah.
Annabelle.
Oh goodness gracious. Yeah, I think I think we should in a little bit when we get more followers on this podcast and on our social media, we should start a Patreon and have movie nights with our Patreon
I
patrons.
like that.
Because I think we can do that through Google Teams or Google Meets or something.
Just gotta find out what the max occupancy is.
Yeah. Y'all let us know in the comments if you would join our Patreon first of all. We don't have it yet, but if we do, would you join our Patreon? Let us know on our Facebook. Send us a message or whatever. Just say, what can we say? What uh movie night exclamation point. Just say that and we'll know what you're talking about. Um but let us know on our social media if you would have a movie night with us via Patreon. Would you join our Patreon? Um, things to consider for the future. Whoop whoop. Uh, and we have when this episode comes out. Hold on, I gotta look at my calendar. All right, when this episode comes out, y'all. So next Monday, Monday for you guys listening. So February 19th is today's date. When this episode comes out, we have 6 days until we go to the Brentwood in Little River. And I am so excited for that. So we won't have an episode like we'll have an episode on the 19th, but obviously you guys make sure you tune in to our Facebook, our TikTok, the night of February 24th at like probably like 11 o'clock. It'll be a late night, but it'll be an all night. Join us on our Facebook. We'll be going live from the Brentwood, which is a local historically haunted location that's been featured on Discovery Channel, on Travel Channel, in paranormal magazines. Um,
You can throw it in YouTube and some videos will come up so you can kind of see what we're going to be walking into.
yeah, it's currently so it is a restaurant by day. It is a former house, former family home, and then it was moved from the location that it was at to its current location, and became a B and B, right, or
Mm-hmm.
like
Like
a
a
boarding
boarding house.
house.
For a
Um,
dollar a night, you got a meal and you got to stay.
yep, dollar a night. You got a meal, got to stay. A lot of the local fishermen when they would come into town, that's where they would stay. Um, and yeah, it's now it's a French restaurant, and I have not eaten there, but you have.
Oh, regularly. It's delicious.
um, yeah, we'll see.
A coworker of mine went to school with a
Oh
girl that
yeah,
grew up in that house.
well that's cool.
Mhm.
So
Dude,
She started telling me stuff the other day, and I was like, I don't want to
can
know.
don't tell
we
me yet. Don't tell
Mhm.
me yet.
can we get this person at a later date for an interview?
I don't know where she's at now.
Hmm.
The girl that grew
Mm-hmm.
up in the house, is that who you're talking about? I don't know where she's at. I mean, I can
Okay,
ask if she's still around.
but yeah, so we're going there, and it. I'm excited. I'm very excited about it. We had we did have an investigation a couple weekends ago. That was just a weird investigation, but it was probably the most audible investigation. I mean, we were hearing. Unfortunately, the two of y'all weren't there, but we were hearing voices with our own ears.
What was the deal with Craig's keys?
Craig had gone to take his stuff out to his car because we were packing up. And his keys were in his pocket when he got to the car. And his keys were in his pocket when he got to his car, put his stuff in, and went to come back in to grab something else. And when he came back in, his keys weren't there. His keys weren't in his pocket. So he's frantic, and he's checking his pockets like if his pockets had holes in them, like you would have seen his arm go all the way down. But he's checking his pockets. They're not in there. They're not in there. He walks out, like starts to walk out to the car, checks his pockets one more time, and his keys are right there in his pocket.
Okay.
So I don't know. That was
Did anybody else check his pockets?
no. There's a line there. um so yeah, I don't know. But that place was weird. That place was it gave a very weird vibe. It gave a I felt like something was constantly watching me. I feel like somebody was trying to separate us.
I feel like somebody wanted you in one particular spot all evening.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, it was weird because we were hearing audible stuff with our own, with our own ears. It was we were hearing voices and like little moans. It was just weird. But no, I'm excited for the Brentwood. I think that'll be a lot of fun. That'll be an interesting overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm ready for it, but
you're
God,
gonna
I'm
be
gonna be
so
tired.
tired.
Just bring
Uh,
your
Yeah,
blanket.
bring a blankie and a pillow.
I don't need a pill. I got my arm.
um, thank y'all for joining us. Let us know what you think about the movie. Remember, if you are would join a Patreon, let us know on our social media. Just send us a message that says, or leave us a comment that says movie night, and we will know what it means. Um, and let us know if you've ever watched The Conjuring and what you think of it. And yeah, until next time, y'all come back now, you hear?
Bye.